Were you able to read them?
Huh?
Were you able to read them?
Yes, I was able to read them.
What's your name?
Nancy Gonzalez.
I don't know who your mom is. Okay. So questions from the internet,
Okay.
from the world of the internet. I tried to ask Daniel, but he
What?
said, what are you talking about, baby? Kizzy? Can you please?
Thanks. Go follow your brother up the stairs.
Go upstairs.
Go upstairs.
Okay. What was your first reaction when I was born? I got some strange phrasing for that.
No. My first reaction when you were born is how blue you were. And I'm not referring to the color of your eyes, although they were like purple blue. I was referring to the color of your skin. You were blue.
Was I choking or something?
You were purpley blue.
Why?
Because before you were born, you had a contraction, and they said it'll be like another hour. And they walked out of the room, and I was watching T.J. Hooker on TV in the room. And the nurse walked out of the room, said it'd be another hour, and she walked out and had a contraction, and there you were. You just shot out like a bullet. So your dad had to call 4 people to come in, because there's a baby on the bed. So because there was like a 15-20 second delay before you took a breath, you were not quite breathing yet.
I wasn't breathing when I was born.
You haven't taken your breath yet, so yeah. So you're kind of a little purpley.
So I kind of almost died before.
You didn't almost die. You didn't almost die.
If you don't want to
we're
take
not
things
gonna go
seriously,
there.
then don't.
You didn't almost die. Those words were never shared with me at the hospital.
Oh, I was
Your
there,
color
so-
came into your cheeks. You became quite pink quite quickly, but you were first purpley blue, like your eyes.
What was I like as a child?
The first word that comes to mind is difficult. Sorry. No, you're a difficult child. It was difficult to get a straight answer out of
I think
you.
that might still be the same answer.
It was difficult to get you to do anything I wanted you to do. It was difficult to keep you on task. It was difficult to get you to cooperate. It was pretty much, you were a very difficult child. You were, as a baby, you were amazing. You'd go to anybody, you never cried, you were a great little baby. And
Yeah,
then,
you said an Asian lady made me.
well, you were
cry.
scared, yeah. But when you, around the age of 3, you became difficult, and you remained that way to this
I
day.
didn't have terrible twos.
2 wasn't too bad. 3.
Threes were-
Starting 3, you were just
3 till when?
ongoing.
Don't say till now.
Now?
No.
Yes.
I am not as difficult as I was. As
You're
a
not
child.
as difficult, but you're still difficult. When I ask you to do something, it's still difficult. You didn't say it and just do it without you. Yes, yes, you're still difficult.
Yes, but at least I take care of my own things now.
Thank God.
See, you make it sound like I still act like a small.
No, you don't. Now you're not difficult. We can have a conversation. Ask you a question, you'll answer it. When you were little,
Yeah, I
you
mean-
were terrible. You were just like, I couldn't get a straight answer out of you no matter what. You were just a little smart ass is what you were.
And who did I get that from?
Not me. Not me.
Somebody that you may have married at one point in
Sure.
time?
You can't blame other people.
You can't blame an inherited
Smart ass.
brattiness,
Sure.
smartassness.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Partly, I mean, I was so young, I had to learn from someone.
Okay.
I didn't say you.
No, of course not me.
What do you think about me being a phlebotomist?
Well, I'm the one that came up with the
Yeah, I
suggestion
thought
for
about
you,
that
so
when
that
you-
tells you a lot. I'm the one that thought of it because I figured, okay, what can Lauren do? She's not the kind of girl who's going to sit work in an office ever. She's not going to do any kind of sales. No way. She doesn't like people enough to do that.
Goodness, no.
She has that little awkward side to her, so I could. If she's the kind of girl, I remember even when you were little, you never had a problem with needles. You never had a problem with stuff little kids usually were afraid of. You didn't care. Didn't bother you at all. So I realized you were someone that could do that. And regardless of the economy, there's usually jobs available in the medical field. The training was short, which I know you could handle because you don't like long-term, because you have trouble seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, I did.
This way it was something you could learn in a short period of time, have a skill that you could use. You could help people without having to take care of people, right? That's why you
Yeah.
never want to be a CNA or anything, nurse or anything. You don't have to take care of people. You just want to help and,
Yeah.
and then walk away.
This
Okay.
is true.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
you
yeah.
move on now.
Okay.
How do you feel about me smoking marijuana? I have to quit in a
I
few
know.
days, but
Yes, you do, or sooner.
only for.
Okay, how do I feel? Okay, I understand completely that it helps you with your pain. I have no doubt in my mind, 1,000% that it helps you with your pain, so I do understand.
Well,
The downsides of it are, yeah, you can't be looking for a job and doing it, because even with a legal card, employers wouldn't want you if you're taking Oxycontin either.
well, yeah, I know.
Not when you're sticking needles in people especially. So you have physical problems that cause you a lot of pain. It's very true. And you need to do things to deal with that pain. So I do understand why you do. It's just my concerns are you going to be able to stop so you can get a job and all that good stuff. You're very smart about it. I know you don't drive and don't start drinking. You're smart. You know you only smoke at home and stuff like that. You don't do stupid things. You're very responsible about it, and I do understand.
Thank you.
You're welcome very much.
You're welcome very much. This is a good one. What would you have named me if I was a boy?
Alexander?
I had a feeling that's what it would be because I know your other choice for a girl's name was Alexandria.
Right.
And-
Alexandra.
Oh, well, excuse me. I got it
Alexandra.
wrong all along.
Alexandra.
I don't
I
know.
just, you know what, it's just a strong name. It's a strong name. Alexander the Great.
Then we ended up having a cat named Alexander.
That's why, because I liked the name, and that was my first boy. No, we had Eddie, but that was way before you were thought of, and you ever thought about actually names for children.
Yeah.
That's why I named him Alexander, because
Really?
he's the son I
You
never
just
had. Yeah.
Oh, fat baby.
Yeah.
What was my first word?
Dada.
That was really?
I was so bummed out.
You're so pissed off.
It was like,
Aw.
what up with that?
That's,
Yeah.
maybe it was easier to say at the time.
I used to get up early for work and take you to daycare. Your dad worked retail, so he slept a little later because he worked retail. He would in later. And each morning I'd bring you into him to say goodbye in the morning to him. Every morning. And then one morning, I'd hand you your dad to say goodbye, and he'd say, Dada! And he was like, jump it all. And I was like, that's just a noise that came out of her mouth. She doesn't really say that. Okay?
You were in denial.
She was just like mumbling, da da da, whatever. But no, you said Dada first word. And you said it when you went to him, so you knew that's what it was. What's your first word?
He was probably like whispering in my ear all the time, so I would say.
Probably had hypnotizing you and
He
drilling
was
into your head and your
hypnotizing me.
sleep. I know.
With his magic.
Mm-hmm.
What was my first curse word?
Shit. Standing right here at the bottom of the stairs, you dropped something on your foot. You said, "Oh shit!" You were about 4. 4. Yeah. And you dropped a ball. You had something in your hand. You're standing right there, and it just fell out of your hand, and it on your foot. It probably hurt. You said, "Oh shit!" And Rudy heard you. They get really mad. Yeah, they get mad at you.
Was he mad at me, or was he mad at whoever taught it to me?
I don't. Well, so long
It's
ago.
kind of
I
hard
don't
to
remember.
be mad at a 4-year-old child being the
Right.
shit.
Because you heard him. Yeah.
Even though I did use it in the right context.
We didn't overreact because we don't make a big deal about it. And his boys were here that weekend. I remember that. They were all upstairs when it happened. Yeah, they didn't hear you. No, I didn't know.
Say something. Yeah, but you can't blame a 4-year-old.
No, you just you.
But I did use it in the right context, unlike your first cursing, right?
What was what?
When you
Oh yeah.
when you called your
I didn't
sisters.
curse. It wasn't a curse word. It wasn't a curse word at all. It was just. It wasn't a curse word. It was an expression. I said go blow.
Yeah, well, you used it totally wrong.
I
Like,
had no idea what it meant.
you didn't even know
I was just
what
mad
you
at
were
Toby,
saying.
and that's what I said to her. Because she told me to butt out of a conversation she was having with my mother. I was sitting up on the kitchen counter. I was like 5. And she says, this conversation is not for us. It's go blow. And my mother washed my mouth out with that soap. She did.
And you never said it again.
Never.
And the last thing,
Mhm.
what do you think about my tattoos?
Okay. It's your body, do what you want with it. However, I told you before you got all these tattoos, the ones that are exposed, you'll always have trouble getting a job. So as a phlebotomist, you're probably going to be wearing long sleeves and high necks for the rest of your life, even in the summertime. That was my only concern, is employment. You could do whatever you want, this
Yeah.
is you, but getting a decent job, not in a liquor store, not in a tattoo parlor, okay? Not at the 7-Eleven or anything like that, to get a decent professional job, it would be a problem. I knew that. I know it's normal these days, I know this is what people do, but that stigma is still stuck to it, where it just, a lot of people think they're like trashy. They do.
Yeah, and like, but I always had big no-nos. Like, I would never tattoo my hands or like.
Oh, I understand, but you tattooed your whole
I know
arm.
that this. You know what? I do regret this place.
Oh my god.
I do regret this placement. I like the tattoo, but I regret the placement. But it was like only like my 3rd one, so I wasn't really like thinking too clearly.
Because I mean, because you know, you have your cousin, for instance, she has a lot of them, but you cannot see them if she be dressed professionally, you never see them. So she was smart about the stuff like that. Okay, Leah, in case you hear this, she thought about it. She knew that it wouldn't affect her employment. You think if she had tattoos everywhere, she'd be, like if she decided she would still be a lawyer, she'd be in a courtroom like that? No. So that's what I mean. Do what you want, but you got to be smart about it. Because, you know. So yeah, so long as you know you're going to be wearing long sleeves forever, it's all good.
I'm aware.
You are aware.
Great. Well, thank you for
Sharing.
ending American Idol and talking to me.
Well, it was over.
Oh, well, your dog is ready for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.